Hi, I'm Justin. Well, I'm future Justin, actually, after returning home from the beach. I've been doing this thing for a little over a year or so, where I record these types of videos where basically I'm just talking to myself, rambling, going wherever my mind takes me. I found it can be pretty helpful to process the things that are happening in my life. Originally, I just did it kind of for the memories, important events, like when I would visit people who were important to me or moving out of an apartment. I would film the videos to just have keep those pieces of my life. Yeah, but I don't know, something compelled me today to go out to the ocean. I had finished my last college class for the day, and it was like 6 o'clock, and I was like, oh, well, I have enough time to drive to the beach before the sun sets, and I don't know what the fuck else I'm gonna do, so why not? And then I did, and when I got there, I thought, you know what? I've been thinking for a while that maybe I would try making one of these videos with the intention of posting it publicly, because with all this kind of change that's occurring in my life and really kind of like processing it through these videos as I've been making them, I thought that if I was a little bit more intentional about it, that it might be beneficial to some other people who are kind of in similar circumstances or just want to hang out with somebody. I've been overthinking it a little bit, trying to plan out what I was gonna say, but then today I just decided that I would go for it and make it, and here we are, and put it up, and let go of what other people think, because just let go of what other people think and put myself out into the world. I've placed myself on a little platter here. This is me. This is who I am. And here you go. I'm presenting you with the platter. And I hope you like it. And if you don't like it, that's okay too. Just be nice. You'll hurt my feelings. Don't say anything mean. And, if you're from Vermont, say hello, please. Never been to Vermont, but, this is my favorite hat, so if you're from Vermont, you get special status here. I hope you enjoy hanging out with me. Let's go to the beach. My golden gardens right now, kind of just sitting, enjoying the sunset a little bit. Although it was much clearer day earlier. And the clouds started coming out a little bit before sun setting, so sometimes it's just like that. It's still nice to be out by the ocean though, listening to the birds and the waves. Something quite peaceful about it. Whenever I come out here, it makes everything feel like it's not quite so big. Thinking about how vast the ocean is, and it just keeps on going. And there's a shipping boat out in the distance, and there's another one a little bit closer by out here. And when they start to fade off into the distance like that, you can start to see the colors of the boat shift a little bit towards more blue, and they kind of get a little foggy as they move into the distance. And, if you're painting, they would call that atmospheric perspective. The tendency of things to get, less saturated and more blue toned as they move further into the distance. But it's something different, I think, when you see it in real life. Of course, it's happening to the hills as well as they fade into the distance, and it just it gives a sense of scale. It just makes me realize how big the world is And then everything else doesn't feel like it's quite so urgent. Decided to put my Vermont hat on. You can see it says Vermont on it. And I think it has a little leaf. It makes me feel nice to put it on. It's a little windy, you know. Really kind of hat weather. Something comforting about it. Yeah, it's been a bit of a season of change in my life recently. A lot of things have been changing. Things that, you know, things I thought I could count on. But everything changes in life. And really, there's nothing that you can count on. And it can feel like the ground is falling out from under your feet. But in reality, there really never was any ground to stand on in the first place. And we just get used to the way that things are, and inevitably they have to change. And there's nothing wrong with that, even though it's painful. But we just do the best that we can. And some days we have to come out to Golden Gardens and sit by the ocean. Maybe that's the only time that things don't feel quite so big. But if that's what we need to do, we'll come sit by the ocean. And we'll watch the way that the leaves move back and forth with the wind. And the sound that the waves make. And the sound that the birds make. And the way that everything just kind of is alive. And everything just keeps on living, no matter what else happens. Once I leave here, the ocean will still stay. And all the birds will stay, and all the shipping boats will keep coming and leaving. And it'll all just be living every day. And no matter what happens in my life, it's just gonna keep on going. I've been coming here a lot recently. It's kind of become my ritual. Somewhat recently, not that recently, but recently enough that it's still painful, if not quite so raw anymore. I had a relationship end that I had been in for 6 years. Yeah, of course it's always painful when relationships end. Yeah, it definitely needed to happen, but it doesn't make it any easier. There are some memories associated with Golden Gardens. It probably is true for a lot of couples in the area, just because it's like the couples beach. You come and watch the sunset together. And so initially when, when things were a bit more raw, when it was on my mind more often, and I needed to be in nature. Something compelled me to come to Golden Gardens, kind of late in the middle of the night. It's also open late, which is very nice. It's good for contemplation. You know the vibe of sitting out on the dock at 11 p.m. listening to the water. That's fucking mood right there. But something compelled me to come out, I think, specifically because there were memories associated with the park, and I think it would have been easy to avoid those things. It would have been easy to I don't know, push it away, that go to a different park that didn't have memories connected to it because I knew that it would be painful. But something compelled me not to do that. Something compelled me to specifically come to Golden Gardens to face that. I thought it was important that I face that, and I did. And that was a challenging night, I can remember. But being next to the ocean here, there was enough space to hold it, and I think it was a valuable experience. I'm glad that I came. And after that point, it's just become a bit of a ritual, and it's not painful in that way anymore. It's really quite comforting to come here. And there were some seals. I saw some seals while I was walking today. That's the first time I've seen them here. Maybe three seals. They're cute. They're probably still swimming around out there. There was a group of teenagers that came walking by on the beach behind me, and and they were making seal noises as they were walking, making seal barking noises like teenagers do. Group of 3 boys, and they were just being dumbasses, and they stopped and said hello, and they asked if I was live streaming. And I film like this somewhat frequently with myself, just to, for videos that I post privately, for just kind of the memories. And I always love it when I pass by kids or teenagers while I'm recording, because without fail, every single time so far, they always get super excited and they see the camera and they immediately run over to get into the camera or wave or start making noises and obviously they have no idea who I am, because this is the first public video that I'm posting ever. They have no idea why I'm recording, but they see the camera and they want to get in on it. And and it makes me think about what it was like to be younger like that, and just not to be so afraid. You see a camera, so you run over and you start barking seal noises into it, and you're just not so concerned with the rest of it. I don't know. They're cute. I don't know that I could handle them. I don't know if I could do one. I have I know somebody a couple years older than me that has a kid because he's Christian, and you know how Christians, they like to reproduce. Yeah, I don't know that I could do that. Maybe one day. Who knows? I'm having to think about this. I'm having to, it's interesting to have this kind of thoughts at my age. At least it feels weird to think about these things at this age. It feels like I'm quite young, and I don't know, I think I am. But there are some people that are more religious, like I said, who where they have kids younger, and in the past it used to be, I think, more common to have kids at quite a younger age. And I'm 24 now, so yeah, I don't know. That still feels young for me. I don't think, I definitely couldn't do kids at this point in my life. But it's interesting that I'm even thinking about it. But I've been having to think about it because I'm having to sort out some medical problems, sort out some medical challenges where the treatments that exist oftentimes cause infertility. And and it's not always reversible. Depending which doctor you ask, it's likely that it wouldn't be reversible. Although thankfully that's kind of a thing that builds over time, so it's not like I would start it immediately and then I would be infertile permanently. It would be kind of nice probably to have infertility in the short term, like as a form of birth control, but I wouldn't need that, so I wouldn't have any use for that right now. Yeah, it's a little bit interesting walking around here sometimes because it's like I mentioned, Golden Gardens is kind of the couples park. It's the place that everyone goes to watch the sunset on a date, or either on a date or with somebody they've been with for a long time. And so when you're walking around, there's these cute couples all over the place. At least half, maybe 3/4 of the people who are here are around sunset, and they're always like sitting on a bench together, wrapped up underneath a blanket. Got he's got his arm around her, and she's resting her head on his shoulder. I don't know, it's cute. It always makes me feel a certain way. Can feel like it's like this in-between point where the past is gone, but the future isn't here yet. So it can feel like I'm just here sitting in the middle. But I know in reality there is no in-between, that we're just alive. I'm living every day, and every moment that passes is my life. But I know that I'm not in between anything, that this is right now, this is my life. And yeah, it's easy to forget that, but big changes precipitate change. Yeah. So I don't know, we're forced to reevaluate our lives when things start to fall apart, and even though it's obviously difficult, it can be incredibly painful. It can also be some of the major points of change and transition in our lives in a way that can end up being positive if we choose how we want to be with that, where we want to direct that change, and how we want to show up in the world. And doing our best not to close off when our hearts get bruised. It's easy at that point to react and build up walls, but we do the best we can to keep showing up with our hearts just as open as before, knowing very well the pain that might come. That group of teenagers came back with more of them this time, with maybe 6 teenagers. I don't know where the other ones came from, but they multiplied, and they came over barking twice as loud as ever, and causing a ruckus, being very sweet and sociable. I feel like for me, these little micro interactions with strangers can be kind of meaningful when you just, I don't know, you come across these people and you just cross paths with them for a brief moment, and you're just a couple human beings passing through the world. I don't know, there's something about it. It always makes my day a little better, I think. And in the city we can be a little bit guarded. There's so many people, there's too many of them to take in, and so we kind of keep our head down and we avoid eye contact, and I'm very bad about that. Sometimes I try to correct it, sometimes I consciously try to correct it by like looking at somebody and smiling while I pass by them, but there's like a strong physical, biological urge forcing me to avert my gaze. Yeah, it's interesting, but I'm starting to get into people now. We're in the bonfire section. People having their fires. I'm curious how the lighting's gonna end up being on my face, because it's a little bit dark out here right now. Bonfires are quite pretty. It would be nice to come out here with a group of friends and sit and have a fire as it gets dark outside, but I'd need a group of friends first to do that. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe one day. But for now, I'll just walk back to my car go home, and we'll see. Maybe I'll put some more video in from my bedroom. Yeah, love and kisses, and you're beautiful. Mwah. Yeah, I'm back home now because it was starting to get a little bit dark at the beach. And I know you were probably pretty worried that now that I'm back home, I was going to end up not having my Vermont hat on anymore because I'm inside now. But I couldn't do that to you. I had to leave it on, of course. But one of the best things about being home while I'm recording is that I get to have the ASMR microphone. And then I can tell you what a good little puppy you are. Pat, pat, pat. Yeah, well, I think I had some things I wanted to talk about. I thought I had some notes in my mind, but they always find a way to wander off, don't they? Guess I've been proud of the fact that I think I've been handling, given all that's been happening, I'd say I've been handling it pretty well, better than I would have expected. Not that it is easier than I expected. It's not. It's definitely been difficult, but I think I've been able to show up in a way that I didn't used to be able to. Be gentle with myself in a way that I didn't used to be able to. That's probably the biggest thing. If you're in a similar place or even if you're not, that's the biggest thing, I think, is being gentle with ourselves. That, change is incredibly difficult. These are some of the fundamental struggles of being human. And there's no wrong way to do it. There's no right way to do it either. We just do the best that we can. We try to be gentle with ourselves. And when we notice that we're showing up in a way that is not how we want to be showing up, we have the opportunity to begin again. There's a meditation teacher, Sharon Salzberg, and one of the things that she says is that when we notice that we're lost, we're given the opportunity to begin again. And it's not about how many times we get lost, it's about how many times we begin again. I like that, and I think it's applicable to a lot of areas in our life. That there's no right way to do it, and even if it's difficult, you're doing nothing wrong. You're doing amazing, and whenever you notice that you're not in the place where you'd like to be, or you're not responding in the way you'd like to respond, try not to beat yourself up for it, because the fact that you've noticed that, the fact that you've become aware of it, means that you have the opportunity to begin again. So, yeah. We're just doing the best we can out here. And, it's helpful for me to talk about these things. Process the things that I need to think about, and all the things I say are reminders for myself as well. It's been a true pleasure getting to spend this time with you. Everything's going to be okay. You're doing just fine. Love and kisses. Mwah.